Hello, this is Archie Dunlop with Talking Astrology with Archie on Saturday, June the 10th, 2023. Now, I recently talked about Prince Harry's chart with particular reference to secondary progressions. And I showed how his progressed chart seemed to clearly indicate that something bad was going to happen on or around August the 31st, 1997. We could see this by looking at how the progressed midheaven was hitting his south node, and the south node was in turn on his Mars-Saturn midpoint. And so you could construct with that symbolism a scenario for his mother dying. But we had another question relating to his brother, Prince William. People were asking, well, what about Prince William? What was going on in his chart? My reply was, well, death occurs to different people in different ways. In the case of Prince Harry, clearly the death of his mother totally traumatized him. Well, I suppose the death of anyone's mother prematurely would be traumatizing. But perhaps with Prince Harry, it was hitting him more than Prince William. Maybe he was just a bit too young. Prince William was older. Maybe Prince William could handle it better, or something like that. But what I am going to do now is look at Prince William's chart and look at his progressions on August the 31st, 1997, which was the day that his mother, Princess Diana, was killed in that car crash in Paris. But I should, of course, remind you that today I will be looking at the astrology for today, June the 10th, 2023. But first, I want to look at Prince William's horoscope. Anyway, let's see what we can see. I mean, I've already looked at his chart briefly, but now I want to focus on his secondary progressions. So just a reminder about what secondary progressions are. They work on the principle that every day after you're born represents 1 year. So Prince William was 15 when his mother was killed. So we would look at the 15th day of his life to tell us about the 15th year of his life, if that makes sense. So before we focus exactly on his progressions for August the 27th, 1999, we should perhaps just look at his chart in general. Where might the problem be? What is difficult about Prince William's chart? Okay, he's got Neptune rising. You wouldn't at first sight immediately associate Prince William with having Neptune rising. Does that mean he's able to hide quite a lot? Of course, his enemies would suggest that's kind of deception and being the capacity for being devious and so forth. I don't know. I'm not a keen royal watcher. But what I do notice is Mars and Saturn. He has got a wide Mars-Saturn conjunction. Now, as I always say, Mars-Saturn can be associated with death. It can be associated with frustration. It's in the 9th house. Death in a foreign country, if you want to be literal. But, this is a very wide conjunction. 6 degrees. It's not an exact conjunction. So that might make us think, if we look at secondary progressions, what we would do is we would look at the planets for June the 21st, when he was born, and we would see what Mars and Saturn were doing in the days following his birth. Specifically, we might want to see what they're doing maybe around the 15th day after his birth. So let's move this chart forward to the 15th day after he was born, approximately. So here we are, July the 7th. So just a reminder that William was born on June the 21st, 1982. And if we move his chart 15 days approximately, we get July the 7th, 1982. And in fact, this corresponds to August the 31st, 1997. So the planets have been clicking forward. And so what do we notice? Mars and Saturn. They're no longer 6 degrees apart. They are exactly on it. And so I'd like to thank one of my commenters, Greg Young. He commented on this. He noticed that Mars-Saturn was making a conjunction in Prince William's progressed chart when Diana died. And so there we have it. That is really good. I mean, when I say really good, I don't mean it's good. I mean, I believe it's good that we're seeing astrology work. Astrologers are morbid. We have to do it like this. We are interested in disasters and accidents, and we want to see what's going on astrologically. That's just the way we are. So Mars and Saturn were exactly conjunct when Prince William's mother died. And what this tells us is that we really need to use secondary progressions. I'll be honest, in my work as an astrologer, I kind of have tended to de-emphasize them. I perhaps focused on, other techniques. And this is a reminder perhaps that I need to make a greater effort to look at secondary progressions. Now, there's another thing going on here. When you're doing astrology, it's very important to consider triggers. Okay, we can see that there was a conjunction of Mars-Saturn in Prince William's chart. So let's say I was doing Prince William's chart in 1997 and I'd noticed this. What would I have done about it? When would I have expected the full impact of this conjunction to have hit home? Well, I would have be looking for triggers. I would be looking for some transiting planet to get to about 15 degrees Libra. So let's see what was going on real time when Diana died. I've taken this. Is this the accident? I'm not sure. I think this is the accident, but she died within a few hours of this time. August the 31st, 1997, 12:23. Maybe that's the accident. I think she might have died a few hours later, but I don't know. Now, have a look at Venus. At the time of the accident, Venus was at 15 degrees 46 Libra. And let's go back to the progression. At 1547, Saturn was at 1547, Venus was at 1541. So what was happening there was that transiting Venus at the exact time of the accident was triggering this larger, more powerful, progressed aspect between Mars and Saturn. And I think an observant astrologer might well have predicted that something bad was going to happen to William around August the 31st. Anyway, that's enough of Prince William, and I'm now going to look at the positions of the planets for today, which is Saturday, June the 10th, 2023. So the moon continues to be in Pisces, and it is exactly square the sun in Gemini. So for some of us, we might be aware of a conflict here. They are very different energies. You've got moon in Pisces, very emotional placement, very flexible, fluid placement, sensitive. And then there's sun in Gemini. Now, sun in Gemini is also quite flexible and fluid, but the sun is in Gemini. That's an air sign. Moon is in Pisces, a water sign. So we might feel a clash between our thoughts and our feelings. Our thoughts, we have a certain sense of mischief perhaps, but our feelings, more serious, we can't do that. So we're going to be a bit torn. Do we want to run roughshod over other people's feelings? Do we want to run roughshod over our own feelings? Or perhaps we need to be more serious. We need to just listen and feel what's going on around us. So there's a difficult balance to strike there. Another thing going on over the weekend is that Mars, if you look at Mars is around 1210 Leo, is sesquiquadrate. That's like 135 degrees away from Neptune. So the Mars-Neptune pairing, I often associate that with sleaze, just being attracted to things which are dangerous but exciting. Alcohol, drugs, dark basements, whatever. So we have to be careful with that. We're going to be tempted. We're going to be tempted by the more seamy side of life, but we do have to be careful. We could get ourselves into trouble. So be aware of that. Be aware that there are temptations, and be aware that those temptations should be resisted. I should also point out that the sun is aspecting, in fact it's conjunct the Venus-Jupiter midpoint. Now this, I think, is actually a really good aspect, because the sun is actually 45 degrees from Venus and it's almost 45 degrees from Jupiter. So sun on the Venus-Jupiter midpoint is actually very fortunate. It's very happy. It's very definite. We want to do things. We're optimistic, and we really can make the world a better place. So if you are that kind of person, the kind of person that is an optimist, the kind of person that doesn't let negativity get you down, then yeah, it can be a really great day. And I suppose Venus and Jupiter is often connected as a pair with relationships. So maybe there's a chance there to intensify an existing relationship, or perhaps if you're going to a party or some social gathering, you might meet up with someone new. And it might all be very fun, but don't overthink it. I suppose the key to finding romantic happiness is not to overanalyze things, not to overanalyze any first encounter, but yeah, just be optimistic, and I think some amazing things could happen. Now, as far as the 12 signs are concerned, let's go. Here are my forecast for June the 10th, 2023. Aries, be careful. You may be straying into dangerous waters. After all, Mars, ruler of Aries, is sesquiquadrate Neptune. And what shines and glitters can tempt you off the path. Taurus, your business acumen is in great shape, and even though it is a weekend, your talents can get noticed. Gemini, you struggle to project yourself. At first it's hard work, but eventually you find a willing audience. Cancer, there's a moment of fear, but once you understand the situation, it'll be you delivering the surprise. Leo, there are moments of seriousness, but your fundamental optimism can attract plenty of good luck. Of course, the Sun, ruler of Leo, is on the Venus-Jupiter midpoint. Virgo, relationships continue to be important, but you can't expect everything to go to plan. Variety is the spice of life. Libra, there is a lot to be done, and it might all seem rather tedious, but organisation helps your fundamental genius to breathe. Scorpio, you think you're going in one direction, but actually you're going somewhere else. Time to take control. And I think the reason I said that is that Mars sesquiquadrate Neptune. Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. Sesquiquadrate Neptune. Neptune can drag Mars off its path. Sagittarius, you're looking for peace and quiet, but someone has got other ideas. Forgotten goals need to be put back on the agenda. Capricorn, you have your schedule, but it mustn't be too inflexible. At some stage, you need to take a detour. Aquarius, the secret to your short-term success is close at hand, and you don't have to chase after it. Pisces, don't make assumptions about people's desires and priorities. You ask a simple question and you get a simple answer. Okay, so that's astrology, and I'm now going to turn to the I Ching. So the first hexagram I got was number 7. The army. This talks about some kind of successful operation that we might be involved in. Somehow things work out, but we have to be careful. The successful operation might involve dealing with opponents. If we've got enemies, people trying to get us, destroy us, whatever, we can take successful action and we can be surprised by our success. But I think the I Ching is warning us about taking things too far. We don't want to be too vindictive. We don't want to be too obsessed with getting any kind of revenge, with punishment, that kind of thing. That is really not a good idea, because if we start getting out of control, we could end up causing real chaos, and not to mention a load of bad karma. So the army does move, and it moves to, I think we've seen this before, the abyss. So yeah, this is a dangerous situation, another dangerous situation. Maybe we're just getting into something we really don't want to get into. But if we keep our cool and we allow things to follow their natural course, the abyss is about, the I Ching talks about water. Water has its natural run. Water always knows where it wants to go. Just follow it through. Do what's natural. We know it's a dangerous situation, but it's a dangerous situation we're familiar with. And if we don't get thrown off the beaten path, if we just follow the natural stream of things, we should be fine. Now, I should say that this hexagram reading today, the army moving to the abyss, is a bit dramatic. I mean, this is just a one-day reading, so I've no idea quite how it's going to work out in practice in our individual lives, and it's on a Saturday. I mean, maybe it relates to something going on in the wider world. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say for today, and I will talk to you tomorrow.